Welcome into this Friday edition of Bengals Breakdown. Once again, Stone Shields on hand with you guys. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be taking a look at the injury report for both the Cincinnati Bengals and the Las Vegas Raiders, something we pretty much do every Friday morning on game week. And also going to talk about 5 players to watch, 3 Cincinnati Bengals and a couple of Las Vegas Raiders as well. Guys that are going to have an opportunity to have a significant impact on this football game. So that's what's coming up on today's show. But first, make sure you guys share today's video for me if you have not done so already. The boss has said got to get our shares numbers up here as we start the month of November. Looking for at least 15 shares on this video. So share this video for us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever platform you desire. Really helps us out, and it spreads the word to our Bengals fans out there. Just trying to grow our community here at Bengals Breakdown. So help us out and share today's video for me right now. We'll start with the Bengals injury report on a Friday morning. Look, T. Higgins, of course, didn't play last week against Philadelphia, and things aren't looking good as far as him playing this week at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Obviously, a massive hit. T. Higgins, one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, would be a number 1 on a lot of teams. Dealing with that quad issue. He has not practiced this week. Did not practice on Wednesday. Did not practice on Thursday. We'll see later in the day what his status is for Friday's walkthrough. But again, right now, not looking very good for T. Higgins to be able to go out there and play on Sunday. Typically, if you get a DNP on Thursday on a typical Sunday week, that typically does not bode well for you. So T. Higgins, no practice on Wednesday and Thursday. We will continue to monitor his situation. Orlando Brown Jr., another starter on that Cincinnati offense. He also has not practiced this week, Wednesday or Thursday. As far as what his injury is, there's been kind of some, difficulty trying to determine what exactly is wrong with Orlando Brown. The Bengals listing it as a knee/fibula injury. At one point, Ian Rappaport was reporting that it was a calf injury, so something on that leg. He tried to give it a go last week. Ended up having to come out of that game, was not able to play in the second half. Obviously, Orlando Brown Jr.'s done a nice job holding down that left side of the offensive line. Certainly could be much better in the run-blocking game. But as far as protecting Joe Burrow, he certainly has done his job in that department. And the Bengals will turn to Cody Ford if Orlando Brown Jr. is indeed not able to go. But again, we will monitor his situation on Friday with that walkthrough practice and see if his status changes a little bit later on today. Next up, Sam Hubbard. This is a bit of a surprise. Hubbard popped up on the Bengals injury report on Thursday. Was not listed on Wednesday with a hamstring injury. And very interesting that Hubbard came with his hamstring injury because this is something that was reported early on that Hubbard had a hamstring injury that he has been dealing with throughout the entirety of the season, but his name had not popped up on the injury report until yesterday. So maybe that hamstring injury has gotten a little bit worse. But regardless, probably not a good sign for Cincinnati that he was, dinged up enough to be listed on this injury report. Was limited Thursday. I think Sam Hubbard has done some good things as the season has gone on, but as far as rushing the passer, he has not been able to do that whatsoever. That's not something he really, did a lot throughout his career. But the fact he's dinged up could be interesting. We talked a little bit earlier in the week about potentially Cedric Johnson being active for this game. Hubbard's a little bit banged up. That's even more reason to have Cedric Johnson active on Sunday. So that's kind of the Bengals side of things. I want to circle back to T. Higgins here with our pin comment of today's video. Do you think T. Higgins will play on Sunday? I want to know your thoughts. Be honest with us in the comment section. Type Y for yes or N for no. And if that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comment section and let us know what you think. Now let's flip the script here, talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Their center, Andre James, did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He had to come out of their game last week against the Kansas City Chiefs with an ankle injury. He's a veteran player. He's a solid player for Antonio Pierce's team. Hasn't practiced yet this week. Look for Jackson Powers-Johnson, the rookie, to perhaps have to shift over to that center position and get called upon. He did pretty well in that Kansas City game. Didn't really get any experience playing there since really training camp for Vegas. So he did a nice job filling in. But Andre James certainly would be a loss for Las Vegas. Dylan Parham did not play last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, a guard for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he was limited Wednesday and Thursday. So we'll see if he's going to be able to go for Vegas. Bengals went up against the Philadelphia offensive line that was pretty banged up, and that didn't make a difference. They got absolutely stonewalled. This Vegas offensive line's a little bit beat up as well. We'll keep an eye on Dylan Parham and if he is going to be out there for this Las Vegas Raiders football team. Robert Spillane, linebacker, out there with Tommy Eichenberg and company, being a linebacker for Antonio Pierce's defense. He has not practiced Wednesday or Thursday either. So good chance the Raiders could be calling upon a backup such as Amari Burney, perhaps, that might get called upon in this game. Spillane has not practiced this week, Wednesday or Thursday. And a late addition to this injury report was Zamir White. He actually was limited Wednesday, so not too much of a late addition, but I guess different than you would expect because he did not end up practicing on Thursday. And Zamir White, I had kind of high expectations for White going into the season. I think he was a guy some people thought would have a quality year fantasy football-wise, and it certainly has not panned out. Alexander Mattison, the veteran, getting way more touches than Zamir White, but the fact he did not practice on Thursday, it might be a backfield that is exclusively Alexander Mattison and Amir Abdullah, two older guys in that Vegas running back room, if Zamir White is not able to go. Zamir White, of course, Georgia product, won a national title there, but his NFL career hasn't really panned out maybe how people essentially expected, getting picked in the 4th round a couple of seasons ago. Now we transition into 5 players to watch in this football game, and we are going to start here with Germaine Burton. It feels like only a matter of time before things start to change with Burton, and his number starts to get called upon a little bit more. He had his 2nd catch of his NFL career last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, another deep ball down the sideline, showing off his speed, his physicality, his athleticism, and Joe Burrow has really spoken glowingly about Germaine Burton. And again, this is a team that needs to start doing things a little bit differently, starting to make adjustments, because what they're doing right now clearly isn't good enough. And it looks like T. Higgins probably not going to be able to go. Charlie Jones, by the way, did pop up with a groin injury. He was limited. Didn't talk about him at the top of the show, but he's another receiver that's a little bit banged up. So Germaine Burton, I think Sunday will be the game that he gets the most targets he has gotten in his young NFL career. I think his role is going to start to grow a little bit. There's a lot of trust with Yoshi. I like Yoshi a lot. Burrow trusts him a lot. But the traits of Germaine Burton certainly better than Andre Yosevach's. So I think Burton's going to slowly work his way into this Zach Taylor offense, and I'm looking forward to see him get some opportunity on Sunday against Vegas. Another opportunity for you guys to get interactive with our show here at Bengals Breakdown. Should Burton play more? Sound off for us in the comments section of today's video. Type 1 for yes or 0 for no. I want to know what you guys think. Head down in the comments and sound off for us. Another player to watch here is Maxx Crosby, of course, a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. Crosby is one of the best defensive, I'm not even going to say defensive. Maxx Crosby is one of the best players in the National Football League, and it kind of gets silenced a little bit, or people don't realize it necessarily because the team that he plays on is just absolutely so bad in the Las Vegas Raiders, and really has been for a while. But Crosby has the ability to completely wreck this game for Las Vegas, and the Bengals' job, obviously, is for that not to happen. So it's going to be a big game for this Bengals offensive line, and when it comes to trying to slow down the pass rush, probably going to get a lot of matchups with Demarius Mims, and we'll see just exactly how ready the rookie is for that kind of matchup. And the Bengals, of course, have a star pass rusher in their own right in Trey Hendrickson, so it's going to be really interesting. Obviously, these two guys aren't going to be on the field at the same time, but I feel like whatever one of these guys has a bigger day and can be more disruptive to the opposing offense puts their team in a position to go out there and be successful in this game. So certainly going to keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on the matchups, with the offensive line going against these two guys in Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson. I think these two guys in particular are going to have their fingerprints all over the outcome of this football game. We'll continue with our players to watch here in a moment, but first, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time is a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time Picks is the easiest way to find and buy tickets to live events. Tickets for this weekend's game against the Raiders are on sale now, so head on over to Game Time and get the best deals possible. My 2 favorite features on Game Time: the seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy with Game Time. Secondly, the all-in pricing. Toggling this feature up front allows you to see your total up front, so you don't get hit with any of those surprise fees at checkout. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. But again, create an account, redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Another important player to watch here in this football game is Cordell Volson. Cordell Volson, of course, Bengals guard, taken a couple of years ago out of North Dakota State. Did a nice job his rookie year kind of taking over, winning that job. It's been good enough to be a starter in the National Football League, but I think it's fair to say he's definitely probably the weak link along this offensive line for Cincinnati. You could argue Alex Kappa has certainly struggled a bit as well, but this Bengals team, they have to find a way to at least threaten to run the ball in this football game. They've shown signs of being able to run the ball this year, but last week against Philadelphia, they could not run the ball whatsoever, and that's a major reason why they lost. Here are the run grades from PFF last week. Absolutely dreadful. You got Cordell Volson there near the bottom of the pack with a 49.6 PFF run grade, so obviously not good enough, and he's got to be a lot better. He's the guy that I chose to single out here in this offensive line that really needs to step up his game and be better in the run game. So Chase Brown and Zach Moss can at least be a threat back there, and that'll really open up the play-action game for Joe Burrow and allow them to do more things in the passing game as well. If you can't run the football, defenses can just pin their ears back and just tee off on your quarterback, and that's kind of what's happened to some degree to the Bengals in games this year. Joe Burrow's been able to maneuver that, but they've still lost plenty of football games. So the run game has to be better. I got my eye on Cordell Volson this week. So who you got in this football game? Type B for the Bengals or R for the Raiders. Sound off for us in the comments. Be honest. If you're typing R, that means Cincinnati's season is over. But I want to know what you guys think. Give me a pick. B for the Bengals or R for the Raiders. Next player to watch here, our last Las Vegas Raiders player to watch here in this game is Brock Bowers, the rookie tight end out of Georgia. He is really putting together a nice year for this Raiders team, despite the fact, of course, that his team is not winning many football games. But he's the guy that I think the Bengals defense needs to be most worried about, because you look at their receiving core, Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker, DJ Turner, right? Those guys aren't really massive players that can go out there and really play really good football. Brock Bowers is your biggest threat, and the Bengals in years past have had issues with the tight end, slowing down the tight end, and I think Brock Bowers certainly is going to present a lot of challenges to Cincinnati in this game. Got to find a way to slow down Bowers. He is threat number one on this Raiders offense. It'll be interesting to see who gets matched up with him. I'm sure Lou Anarumo will throw multiple things at him. This guy has the ability to go out there and really put up big numbers against you. Bengals don't want to allow that to happen in Brock Bowers, rookie tight end out of Georgia. Last player to watch here for us is Joe Burrow, quarterback one, number 9. Look, he's been playing, I've said it before on the show, he's playing like the best quarterback in the National Football League right now. But his team is 2 games under 500, which doesn't add up to, what exactly he is trying to accomplish. So I'm looking at Joe Burrow in this game. Has to rise above. Has to overcome. That's what franchise quarterbacks do. All right, this team has holes all over it, but Joe Burrow has to find a way to get this team over the hump and win this game on Sunday. Must win. Absolutely no doubt about that. Burrow's played great. We've given him a lot of credit for playing great. But you're the quarterback. You got to find a way to go out there and get a win in this game. Absolutely no excuses. It comes down to Joe Burrow. We can complain about the front office. We can complain about Zach Taylor. We can complain about the defense. Joe Burrow has to find a way to get this team over the hump and win this football game on Sunday. He is who is responsible for this game, and I do have full belief that he's going to be able to get it done for Cincinnati. And, of course, this Sunday game, we will be live for it with our watch party here for Week 9. We'll be live about an hour before the game here on our channel. That is, of course, Bengals Breakdown. So if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do it right now, youtube.com/BengalsTV.